Alright, first video. Cue that royalty free music.
Yeah, that's the one.
Alright, first things first. I go by a few names. Redifye, and that cool black dude who watches anime sometimes. And just in case anyone was wondering, these are my pronouns. Alright, so let's get this out of the way. If you're here for anything other than anime content or anime video games, or anything that has to do with anime, you're in the wrong place. I don't know what to tell you. But if you're here to see my sexy face, then who am I to stop you? Oh yeah, and if you're watching this, there's a good chance that you hear from my good friend K-Skills. He and I have been friends for a while, so there's a good chance that we're pretty similar in a lot of ways. So here's a list of differences between the two of us. But if you hear from like a week from now when I have 1 billion subs, you can go check K-Skills out yourself. It's the least you can do, to be honest. But yeah, like I said before, a lot of the content I plan to post is going to be heavily anime related. And it's really gotten to the point to where if you don't watch anime, we're not friends, bro. I'm sorry. So yeah, this being an anime channel and all, what better way to start things off than talking about one of my favorite anime,
ReZero.
Unlike a lot of people, I try not to shove my favorite anime down the throats of all my friends and family, but I have mentioned it to a few of my friends, and some have watched it, some haven't. You know who you are. And family-wise, surprisingly enough, I mentioned it to my brother, who literally bullies me for watching anime. He watched it, and he ended up enjoying it, so that's how I know this is a solid anime. Before I get into any of my subjects, I have to go over the brief plot of ReZero before anything else. So, the main character, Subaru, the dripped out popular loner, gets transported into another world, not by truck, with nothing but his drip and a bag of things he brought from the convenience store. After realizing he has no special powers, he gets jumped in an alleyway by some young boy fans, but he's saved by a half-elf named Amelia that is running in the royal election for the country he's been transported to. In return for saving him, Subaru offers to help find a medallion that Amelia had lost moments before finding him. After getting caught up in some crazy black market exchange, Subaru ends up getting got by some crazy hot woman, but he finds himself awake again at an apple stand that he'd been at before he met Amelia. That's when he finds out he has the power to return by death and uses it throughout the story to achieve the perfect ending he wants. So in essence, Subaru dies, goes back to a checkpoint, dies again, goes back, and rinses and repeats this until he gets the ending that he actually wants. So yeah, now you have a basic understanding of ReZero. But anyways, I'm going to be going over the MC, plot, music, and of course the wives of ReZero, and why they're better than anything from your favorite show. So starting with the backbone of all anime, the staple of every good show you've watched, the reason you come back to your favorite anime over and over, the 2D wives. As a young African American male in today's society, there are a few things I need to lead a healthy, balanced lifestyle, those things being chicken, grape Kool-Aid, and 2D wives. So yeah, the first subject is obviously going to be the most important one in any anime, and that is the 2D wives. ReZero is literally S tier when it comes to that. ReZero has them all. Want some wholesome wives? Here. Someone that'll make fun of you and look at you in disgust? There. Maybe you're into the older types that will dominate or kill you? Right this way. You want a cat boy that you thought was a cat girl for whatever reason? Also there. Maybe jail is your safe place and you're into the younger looking types? Stop looking. ReZero has them. And if that wasn't enough, you get to see them in all types of different perspectives thanks to Subaru's return by death. So yeah, that's why this category gets an S tier for me and has a lot of better wives than a lot of other shows that I've seen in my opinion. So the next subject of ReZero and why it's my favorite is the main characters of the show. Like I said before, Subaru is the main character whose main power is to return to a previous checkpoint after he dies, but it's not as easy said than done. The reality is, dying isn't easy, and when you have to kill yourself or don't want to die in the first place, you can really feel for Subaru, as nobody would want to live through this. Not many people like the quote-unquote crybaby MCs, or MCs that really show any of emotion for some reason, but I'd say that Subaru seems to have rational emotions as he's going through his trials and tribulations of his anime. You see Subaru struggle a lot, but he returns every time, even when he doesn't have the will or motivation to keep going. And let's be honest here, I don't think anyone would after what he's been through. With each new timeline, you get to see the thoughts of other characters in a given situation, Then in another timeline, you get to see how a little something can end up changing a character's whole opinion. As you see these characters change, you get a sense of development, and this leads me to think that there really aren't objectively any bad characters in the show, which is why I give it, surprise surprise, another S. Maybe I should stop doing these because now I'm totally biased to this show. But I'm not going to do that. Next up we have the plot, and that's A. See, the plot itself isn't bad, but for someone like me who easily forgets things, it can be hard like trying to figure out which timeline is which and what is happening, so it can get a little convoluted at times, but I feel like overall it isn't that much of a problem. So the overall plot is great, but that's the only problem I'd have with it. The plot does a really good job at, like I said before, showing the changes in each of the characters each time Subaru goes through and does anything to a timeline. It also does a really good job at showing how hard it can really be to die over and over, and how that can start to like drain you mentally and wear you out to the point to where you don't even want to do anything anymore. It does a really good job at story building and really showing you what the world may be like in the world that Subaru lives in, and why I'd want to live there myself, and maybe why I wouldn't want to live there. Finally, the plot does a great job at keeping you invested in the characters and keeping you wanting to watch the next episode. As each one ends, you really just want to start the next one. Last but not least, we have the music and sounds. Music and sounds really tie everything together and set the tone for the show. Sound-wise, one of the most iconic sounds being and another sounding like this. Literally gives me chills almost every time I hear them. As for the tracks of this anime, lots of them are really memorable, especially the intros. I'd say that they're good enough to make you want to listen, but just like any other J-pop song, you'll be bullied by the rest of the kids on the bus. I will admit I listen to them while I'm driving, but not loud enough for me to be called a weeb by every loser who passes me, which is why I give it an A tier. Oh yeah, and some of the tracks I really like a lot are Memento, Relive, and Paradis' Paradoxum. Alright, so that's it. I hope you learned a bit about who I am, and obviously what my favorite anime is and why. So yeah, I'm going to cut off the video here, and keep in mind this is my first video, so it took a lot of time for not a lot of, show. So yeah, if you enjoyed, leave a like, and I'll catch you later. Oh yeah, and ReZero Body's your favorite anime. Stay bad.